Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group AF1, Group 3. We'll be presenting Environment Impact Assessment EIA report. Our group has given name Unity Consultant that has projek for cadangan membina dan menyiapkan 81 unit rumah banglo 2 tingkat di atas log PT 813 hingga PT 892 daripada pecahan log asal 1635 Seksyen 70 Mungkin Seterpa Daerah Bangu Jajahan Kota Baru Kelantan Darul Naim. So this is our group member and also me as Muhammad Khairul Armi as Managing Director. For Senior Architect we have Siti Aisyah Hani. For Senior Engineer, we have Muhammad Rifki. For Consultant, we have Muhammad Safwan. And the last one is Marketing and Sales Manager, we have Nur Halilatullah.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Safwan. So I would like to present on chapter 1, project detail. First of all, the Environmental Impact Assessment EIA actually serves as a mechanism to evaluate the environmental impact of a project and formulate strategies to minimize any negative impact on the environment. So, our project name is cadangan membina dan menyiapkan 81 unit rumah banglo 2 tingkat di atas lot PT 813 to PT 892 daripada pecahan lot asal 1635 Seksyen 70 Mukim Seterpa Daerah Bangu Jajahan Kota Baru Kelantan Darul Naim. For the scope study, the objective of conducting this EIA is to systematically identify, assess and documenting the environmental and socio-economic consequences associated with the proposed expansion project. The next one is of objective. So for the objective, first of all is to safeguard the environment, because this is very crucial to ensure the local planning authorities' permission before making any decision regarding to the project planning. The next one, we have to ensuring early and effective public participation in decision making. Third, the identification and incorporation of recommended mitigation measures for implementing further mitigation measures. Fifth one, justifying the necessity of implementing the proposed project is also one of the objectives. Seventh, providing a specialized assessment of the EIA resulting from the implementation of the housing project scheme. So the last one is a site selection criteria. The first of all, this proposed project is actually situated within the agriculture and residential area of the Kota Baru Municipal Council area, meaning that this project is actually located in the middle of the Kota Baru town. And the most exciting one is this surrounding area actually offers ample of educational facilities such as primary school, secondary school, high school, and also Kiat Mara School, vocational. Other than that, other facilities is mosque and grocery stores can be found close to the project site. The next is in terms of healthcare facilities, the Kota Baru is well equipped with establishments such as Kota Baru Hospital. Other than that, the common infrastructure facilities in this area included the very ambitious one is a 3-phase national grid, telecommunication services and pipe-borne water supply provided by the Kota Baru Municipal Council. Kota Baru boasts reliable telecommunication services with coverage from all major mobile phone network providers and access to wireless phone connections.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Rifki bin Muhammad Razi. So I will explain the chapter 2, which is description of existing environment. This section focuses on examining the environment aspect of the proposed site. The objective of this study is to gather data and information for the project from within a 10 kilometers radius of the site. The existing environment includes factors such as soil condition, geology, drainage system, sewerage system, traffic, and ecology. This is important to ensure that the construction does not have a negative impact on the environment or on the construction site itself. So as you can see, this is the site location of this is the proposed site location of the project. It will cover an area of 4.3 hectares. The site is located at 16.1 kilometers from the main city of Kota Baru, and there are no declared environmental sensitive area within 500 meters of the site. The site is surrounded by residential and paddy field. The site also has an existing river, which is Sungai Kemaseng, and it can be accessed through Jalan Bukit Marak. So next, we move to the activity phase. The activity of this project can be categorized into 4 phases, which are planning, pre-construction, construction, and post-construction. For planning phase, the planning phase is the most important phase as it is defining the goal for the rest of the project. The activities during this phase include feasibility studies, project objective, permits approval, environmental impact assessment, stakeholder engagement, and the project budget. For pre-construction, the pre-construction phase is early planning exercise into contract document that will be submitted for building permits, hire contractor, purchase material, and finalize the design. For construction, this is the most visible phase of the project, and it is important to manage quality, manage risk, monitor progress, and communicate with stakeholder effectively. For the last one, post-construction, the post-construction phase is where to complete the project, hand over to the client, close out the project, and evaluate the project performance. Next, safety and health. The contractors need to prioritize several safety and health measures, particularly for workers at the construction site. These measures include ensuring proper welfare facilities, providing personal protective equipment, PPE, and conducting safety training. For welfare facilities, in order to maintain optimal levels of cleanliness and hygiene, it is important to regularly service and clean eating areas at the construction site. By having these adequate welfare facilities on site, employers can help to create a safety and healthy working environment for the construction worker. For personal protective equipment, PPE is important things in the construction site to protect worker from variety of hazard. The figure below shows the right way of using and wearing personal protection equipment in the construction site. For safety and training, all workers must attend a safety induction training session before they can start working at the site. The contractors must set up a toolbox talks with the workforce. It is to ensure that all workers on site receive regular safety instruction. The contractor seniors and site supervisor need to actively participate on the monthly meeting or seminar to make them fully aware of their own responsibility for the safety of the workforce they control. Next, legal and culture. In Malaysia, Environment Impact Assessment (EIA) is a legal requirement for certain development projects that have the potential to impact the environment. There are the legal and culture aspect related to the safety and health in EIA in Malaysia. For legal aspect, we follow the Environmental Quality Act 1974 EQA, Environmental Impact Assessment Order 1987 EIAO, and OSHA 1994. For culture aspect, we have first safety culture. Safety culture is an organization culture that places a high value on safety. It is characterized by a commitment to safety from top management, a focus on risk prevention, and a willingness to learn from mistakes. Second, communication. Communication is essential for safety in EIA. Project proponent, consultant, and government agency need to be able to communicate effectively with each other about safety hazard. And the last one, training. The workers that involved in EIA need to be trained on the safety procedure so that they can identify and avoid the hazard.
For the chapter 3, existing environment. For existing environment, there are 5 main important things needed to be highlighted, which is physical environment, environmental issues, geologies and soil condition, air, water and noise condition, and the last one is human environment and social impact. Before we go to the 5 main important mentioned earlier, this project is based on study area that located at Bangu, Kota Baru, Kelantan. It is surrounded by the existing residential house and also forest area. So for the excavation of soil and dumping the waste, it is mainly in charge by Kota Baru Municipal Council. For the physical environment, I will explain the rainfall and the temperature at Kota Baru. So for the average monthly rainfall in Kota Baru is usually mostly rain in November, which is stated by data 80.1 inches, and the least rain in February 1.9 inches. For the temperature, it is shown the warmest in May 32 degrees Celsius and also the coldest in January 28 degrees Celsius. So for the environmental issue, there are 5 issues needed to be explained, which is first is air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, land disturbance, and the waste disposal. For the air pollution, the pollutions come from the dust from the factory area. And also the water polluted by the disposal of sewage into the river. And the third is noise pollution. Noise pollution usually comes from the vehicle and the land disturbance because this area is based on the forest area and also is disrupt and disturb the surrounding. So for the waste disposal, the construction usually produce more waste, so waste disposal needed to be taken carefully. So for the geology and soil condition, this project is distant 8 meters from the beach and has flat landform less than 12 meter elevation. So for the soil condition, it has mainly 4 types of soil or rock. The first one is granitic rock, sedimentary rock, intrusive rock, and the last one is unconsolidated sediment. For the air quality, water quality, and noise quality, it has their own parameter to show it as whether it is healthy or not safe for our body. So for the air quality in Kota Baru, it has shown that has collected data in range 41 to 56 AQI. So this value is still safe for a human to inhale or breathe. So for the water quality, the data shown from the Sungai Kemasin for 2 years, it has shown the data for 84 and 73 and also consider safe water to drink. And for the noise quality, it has shown the value 65 decibel and also safe for our hearing and it consider average hearing. And the last one is human environment and social impact. For this part, there are divided into positive and negative. So when the construction happen, the job opportunity, local economy increase, and also improve the population. So it also has drawback, which is negative to the pollution to surrounding, safety hazard, and environmental degradation. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
So, Assalamualaikum, I'm Nur Halizatua and I will present about the chapter 4 which is potential impacts and mitigation measures. So first of all, as we all know that the Malaysia government has established the necessary legal and institutional arrangement that consider environmental factors, for example, physical and chemical environment and also social environment. So there are few impact which is or few example of physical and chemical environment impacts which are soil erosion, water pollution, air pollution, construction waste and also noise pollution and vibration. So talking about the first impact which is soil erosion, we all know that the first step or activity that must be settled at the construction site is site clearing. As all the trees are being removed and cleared, the structural condition of the soil become weak. Thus, the soil erosion occur from time to time. So, in order to overcome or to improve the soil condition, the mitigation measures that need to be considered are by preventing erosion and sedimentation at the source, restore affected area as soon as possible, and keep control measure in good working order. So proceed to the next impact, which is water pollution. The primary risk of incident is due to contaminant seepage from solid waste or inadequate sanitation system. Other than that, the discharge of wastewater from workers' camp during construction is also the causes of this pollution. So some precaution that can be taken on the construction site, including prepare a proper sewerage treatment plant and stormwater drainage in order to treat contaminated water. So the third impact, which is noise pollution and vibration, that happen when there is excessive noise or an unpleasant sound that disrupt daily living, peace, and generate irritation and mental tension. The noise pollution is produced by the site's equipment and machinery during construction stage. So in order to treat this type of pollution, the project manager should have an ongoing communication and dialogue with neighboring residents to raise awareness and knowledge of project impact before work begins. The second one is condition survey need to be conducted before construction begins. And the last one is noise barrier need to be installed on the area that affect. Next impact is air pollution. This pollution occurs when dust from demolition or construction activity and smoke from construction machinery are produced. This may result on human health if this pollution is not being treated well and earlier. So to reduce this air pollution impact, it is advised to watering the site, especially during dry months, in order to reduce dust level to a minimum. Other than that, in order to treat this air pollution, we need to use vehicles, vehicle wheels and body washing facility at the site exit point and provide dust masks to the employees and also reduce the emission by covering aggregate or dusty material storage heaps. So the next impact is from the construction waste. The solid waste generated during the construction period must not be left on the project site and must be gathered, disposed of, and relocated to a particular place, as poor construction waste management on the job site would result in unclean circumstances. So to overcome the impact, excess material will be moved to other new development site, which is dumping location, and efficient waste management program should be implemented earlier before the construction begins. So next, moving on to the social environment impact that related to facilities nearby, including telecommunication, health, and educational service. This impact may also have an indirect harmful influence. Some mitigation measures that can be considered fit high-quality mufflers or silencers to engine power machinery. For example, in order to prevent friction, keep machine parts adequately greased. So the next one is to treat this social environment impact by training employees about the hazard of their job as well as emergency procedure. So that's all from chapter 4. Let's proceed to the next chapter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Aisyahani binti Muhammad, and today I will be presenting chapter 5, which is Environmental Management Plan. Environmental Management Plan, also we call as EMP. The EMP is required for maintaining a clean and safe environment. The purpose of EMP is to protect and enhance the environment. Propose workable solution to prevent, mitigate, repair, or compensate for observed negative effects. Compare the significant aspects of the social, chemical, physical, and biological environment. Ensure the safety and health of humans. To contribute to an engineering design process that is environmentally friendly and ecologically sound. Suggest a strategy for managing the completion of projects such as sustainable and safe for the environment. The detail of the environmental management plan consists of 4 parts, which is erosion and sedimentation control plan, solid waste management plan, scheduled waste management, environmental monitoring plan. For the erosion and sedimentation control plan is to avoid manage is the criteria for the decision making. The scheduled waste management to contribute significantly to environmental degradation. Environmental monitoring plan was proposed to take realistic mitigation action that would minimize the negative effect in the following areas, such as for the construction area. Project proponent is the individual that take responsible to make the site construction is environment manageable. First, the project proponent is project manager. Project manager is to ensuring complaint with the EMP and relevant approval to ensure that the remediation performed is sufficient and acceptable, maintain the communication with the authorities. And the last one is certify any addition management plan that will be integrated into the EMP and attached to it. The second is engineer. Engineer is responsible to ensure the major detail in the construction or operation according to the specification. and also sign off the additional plan and drawing prior to construction. Engineer also has responsible to do a daily inspection of activity and determine the mitigation measure with the corrective action taken. And also report environmental accident to the project manager immediately after becoming aware of them. And the last one is ensure all personnel have the relevant qualification and planning to carry out their relevant task or role. For the environmental engineer is to identify the environmental impact and responsibility for mitigation measure. The environmental engineer should work with the project team to ensure mitigation measures are implemented. Environmental monitoring during project construction, interaction for evolving and implementation for the evaluation report. And the last one is revise and update the EMP. Environmental Quality Control Plan. Also, EQCP is a document that describes the procedure and activity used to ensure that environmental quality standards are met. The purpose of the EQCP is identify and assess potential environmental impact, develop and implement measures to prevent or mitigate environmental impact, monitor environmental conditions to ensure the standards are met, and the last one is document the EQCP process. For the Green Building Index, and as we call as GBI, the GBI is promote sustainability in the building environment and raise awareness about environmental issues and responsibility to the future generation. The purpose of the GBI consists of 6 criteria, which is energy efficiency, indoor environment quality, sustainable site planning and management, material and resources, water efficiency, and innovation. For the environment contingency plan. Environment contingency plan is an emergency plan of the procedure need to be followed so that any action taken will give an optimal result for the environment, human, and material. The purpose of the environment contingency plan is to ensure that the action taken when the emergency is quick and effective to environment disaster. The impact of the emergency toward the environment can be minimized. And the last one is handling of emergencies during construction has taken into consideration the environmental consideration.
Hello, so moving on to the next chapter, which is chapter 6, conclusion and recommendation. So, there is a three main issue that we need to taking into account, which is water quality, air quality, and noise quality. It is essential for the construction manager or construction site to fulfill the Green Building Index requirements, and it is also very essential for us to sustainably strategize them in managing the site, and we can also developing effective plans such as public transportation access, community services, open spaces, and landscaping, stormwater management, and preserving environmentally sensitive areas during the development of the construction site. So, moving on. The first of all is water quality. The wastewater from site will flow through the drainage system and enter into the detention pond before it is being released to the nearby Kemasin River. So, water quality index remain within the safe range, adhering to the INWQS standards. The discharge water must comply with the standards set by Department of Environment, DOE. So recommendation for this is we have to ensure the proper and continuous drainage is maintained in all excavated site areas throughout the construction phases. The next one is regular inspection and monitoring the river's water quality are really necessary. Construction and maintenance of the drainage system are crucial for the flood management on the construction site. The next one is air quality. There is several parameters that have been adopted to the assess and concentration limits, which is set already by the air pollution index or the new Malaysia ambient air quality guidelines. So the recommendation for this issue is we have to implement dust control measures. The next one, utilize low emission machinery, proper waste management, and the last one, we can also promote a green practices. This can include using environmentally friendly construction materials, promoting recycling and reuse, and also implementing sustainable construction techniques. And the last one is noise quality. Throughout the construction operation, noise can arise from the usage of construction machinery, heavy vehicles, and also activities taking place in the nearby residence. The recommendation for this issue is implement the engineering controls, which is we can use like multiple methods and technology that already there for construction. The next one is schedule and communicate noisy activities. We can like plan do the construction at the high tolerance noise, such as in the daytime. The next one is we have to provide the personal protective equipment (PPE) to the workers. And the last one is regular monitoring and compliance, which is we have conduct regular noise monitoring at the construction site to assess noise levels to ensure compliance with the local regulation and guidelines.